I wonder if the parents of the victims of the Nashville shooting today would still have their children if these trans bills in Tennessee were never a thing. I'm not a parent, but if I were, I'd be real mad at the government. I'd be real mad at the government.
I find it rather weird that you assume that the government canceled the possibility for young children to be able to transition, especially when it was clear that it was pushed on kids behind the parents' back, and the way these procedures got approved was too easily that even the therapists and the doctors and the psychiatrists were afraid to say, I don't think you're trans, because they will be labeled transphobic and they can lose the license. How does that make sense? Now you want to make it an issue as if the government is the problem or the parents that had a Christian school that is not part of that whole thing. Why don't you call out the person that went there, shoot 9 years old? I'm surprised, and you're going to be like, it's anecdotal, just a nuance, just a new... Oh, okay, let me show you. Also serious Ukrainian flag, LGBTQ flag. Sometimes they have surprising response, these people. I hope it was Republicans that lost their lives. One good thing about gun violence is occasionally wipes out full Republican families in one fell swoop. I would like to thank the congressional Republicans and the NRA. And I'm like, interesting. If I said that about specific people in the LGBTQ and somebody went out there and shot a bunch of LGBTQ, do you think this tweet would be used in the future to justify specific things? If that tweet was allowed to stay online, won't the people that lost a family feel a little offended that, yo, what about the people behind me? Even if I'm not really advocating for this to happen, there might be certain people that actually believe that. They're going to be like, yo, there's a lot of us behind here. Nobody is calling it out. Nobody is removing that tweet. Maybe it's okay for the government that is out there because we need to send a message. Maybe the fact that this is allowed to survive, maybe the government really wants to transition all these kids and promote these companies that make a lot of money. Transitioning kid. When? Since when could kids just say what they want and we had to do it as a parent? I don't know. But if that is the truth, I have to buy all the toys when I go to a toy store because they know what's good for them. Right, government? If I understand this correctly, if a shooter has right-wing views, then the right's rhetoric is responsible. If the shooter has left-wing views, then the right's policies are responsible. Very convenient. You always blame a specific one. If you keep doing since the beginning, when you never called it out, and I called it out that it's going to be a bad thing, it's going to snowball, and you cannot correct yourself because you think you're going to lose your votes or whatever, there comes a point that you are going to vote or allow violence because everything is somebody else's fault. That's not progress. That's degress. You know? On one side, and progress on one side. Officially dictatorship, fascism. The Trans Resistance Network has released a statement that Audrey Hill is a real victim in the Christian school shooting. How is that possible? Since when do we say that a person that went to a school to shoot another person is in their right? This is the first time none of the other shooters that existed that somebody would defend them. We would be like, oh, poor person, next time for the next one, we're going to do it different. But the fact that they're like, yo, the person that shot 9 years old, that's the victim? Come on, man. It really bothers me because even in this shooting, one of the teachers that went there was a substitute teacher, a substitute Christian. Who knows? I don't know. But it's so ironic. And I find it weird that nobody is thinking, what do the other kids think now about trans people? What do you think they're going to think? I need to convince them that they're not going to get shot? Really? Hey man, you're responsible for the feedback that you might receive. It doesn't mean they're going to do something aggressive, but maybe they won't feel safe around you because they know that if you get angry, maybe somebody might convince you to do something different.
Hale, who police say identifies as transgender. That news has already prompted some attacks against the trans community. KPRC2's Bryce Newberry picks up our coverage from here.
Demonstrators at the Texas state capitol Monday fighting against anti-trans bills being considered by state lawmakers as news broke that the Nashville school shooter identifies as transgender.
It doesn't excuse anything that happened. I am concerned about how opposition and people who are anti-trans will try to spin this.
Concern about tweets like this from GOP Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, writing, "How much hormones like testosterone and medications for mental illness was the transgender Nashville school shooter taking?"
You don't think that putting testosterone in your body, it doesn't affect you? I'm surprised that all these people think they're Harvard medical students or whatever, but then at the same time, if you just take a little testosterone, most trans people are going to be like, yeah, I actually feel very different. Suddenly I want to funky a lot. Suddenly I react in a different way. It feels different. Get a little too much that your body isn't ready to handle because you might have been taking hormones for so long, it changes your whole chemistry a little from the inside. It shouldn't be a surprise that it feels different. Now you have all this rhetoric online that people are calling specific things out, and then you're going to be like, well, we're inclusive, we're the most nice people, but you have to do whatever I say or else. It doesn't work like that.
Everyone can stop blaming guns now.
The comparison of they did it because they're trans is very unfair to trans people.
Andrea Segovia from the Transgender Education Network of Texas joined Monday's battle at the Capitol, fighting House Bill 1686, which would block doctors from providing gender transition health care treatment to children. Now, with another reason for the Texas trans community to be in the spotlight and at least 2 months remaining of the legislative session, advocates worry the attacks aren't over.
You can't say that because one person did something that's a characteristic or reason to be cruel to trans people.
And tonight, while facts about the Nashville shooting are still surfacing, the Human Rights Campaign says trans people are much more likely to be victims of violence rather than perpetrators, writing in a statement, regardless of the reason for this shooting, the use of violence is reprehensible, and we renew our call for common sense gun safety legislation. In the newsroom tonight, I'm Bryce Newberry, KPRC.
Other than being LGBTQ, I don't think maybe black, maybe Muslim, maybe, depending where. But generally, I don't think they would play self-defense in such a way. And I just feel very disgusted because I'm like, it's not that you're trans, that's why you're more aggressive. It's the ideology behind trans that you're allowed to post specific stuff online. Because if I do that same as a black man, maybe, that was be like, okay, he's black. He might have come from the slave countries or he had the slavery past. Who knows? And I don't want that privilege because I know there's an idiot looking like me is going to be like, yeah, it's their turn to suffer. I'm like, wait a second. Just because somebody did something bad to you in the past, that doesn't mean you have to replicate it to prove a point. Because the only thing you're going to do, we're going to go bing, bam forever. It's never going to stop. And I'm not going to teach my kids this. But if you think it's your right to be able to do this because somebody else made you angry and you killed somebody. No, you killed kids. You killed kids at a school that you don't even go anymore. And you went back there, shot them like they were sardines locked up. I know, man. It feels very disingenuous how the left is trying to portray this. Nashville police refused to release the trans school shooter manifesto. And now I want to read it more because that means there's something in there that might be very dangerous and you don't want the image of the LGBTQ or specifically trans people to totally change across the board because maybe we're right. If you release it and it's wrong, cool. But the fact that you think we're going to perceive it in the wrong way, we need to hide it, just like January the 6th, when everybody was supposedly beating, doing something gangster rioting, and we found they were just trolling in the whole capital. Nah, man. It should not make sense that people can post us when we see transphobe, and you put a lady with 2 guns. Why? Why would you do that? Can I say that? No, I'm not even going to say it because I hope YouTube keeps liking me. And this is Jocelyn Berry. She's an important person, right? In high places in the government. Posting, hey man, if you remind me that you're a transphobe, click, click. I'm the Terminator. Really? You want to play that game? Cool. But I know specific people can promote that. We can talk about the April the 1st, but she can do these things because, hey man, we need to show them we actually don't like the way you're treating us. Let's just justify it with a gun. This is a real poster. Trans Day of Vengeance, Stop Trans Genocide, Trans Day of Vengeance. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Wear a mask, bring a body. What the heck is this? And the reason I think many people are afraid and worried about the manifesto, there was some rumors about something called Trans Day of Vengeance that was released, and nobody knows exactly what it means. But the way she was talking on her phone about something special that is going to happen and everything is planned, they found the SMS and the chat logs and everything on her phone. I believe the cops know something that they might be preparing, but the last thing they need right now is the citizen to start taking action to jeopardize the whole plan. But at the same time, I don't want to wait for cops to do something to have a weird, I don't know, Vivaldi effect. Not, they did a very good job stopping this person, but as a parent, you don't want to wait. And it's a very weird situation. Look at this. Kill Chris Stock, behead Chris Stocks, roundhouse kick Chris Stock into the country, slam dunk Chris Stock, baby ate into the trash can Chris Stock. Okay, this is just a bunch of defecate in Chris Stock food, launch Chris Stock into the sun. I'm like, what are you trying to say? It's just weird. And I don't want somebody to joke about it online because I don't even want to be near you because I cannot even risk 1% that this actually might be something that you might do. You seem to be so angry anyway. You might have even more testosterone and you want me to play Russian roulette? And a lot of people don't take in consideration that this happened in Nashville. That is actually the official place of Daily Wire. So by this argument, the picture that you see below, they're saying the NBC has ID'd the Nashville shooter, bada beam, bada boom. Nashville is the home to Daily Wire, a hub of anti-trans activities by Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, and Michael Knowles. So in other words, their argument is that the transgender psychopath had to murder children because people at Daily Wire do not support the mutilation of children's body under the guise of gender-affirming care. I don't know, man. If you're gonna blame people forever, and the other side is blaming people also forever, but one seems to be shooting forever, and you think by removing the gun that's going to stop, I'm like, okay, cool. Let's remove the gun if that helps you so much. Are you going to help the other people to not be that aggressive? Do you think they're not gonna use a knife, a car, or something else? Or are you gonna be like, no, if we remove all guns, there would be no violence? I think something just happened in Canada that I can't even post, but just search old man gets sliced with a knife. You will see what happened, and nobody could do anything. They were all in shock. And you can see here they're talking about, yes, you have this politician, Marjorie Taylor Greene or whatever. She posted about that day, her account got banned, and we have this lady, Ella Irwin, correct, we have automatically swept the platform, bada beam, bada boom, we do not support tweets that incite violence. Okay, and I get it. But you do allow other people but you do allow other people to have a lady pointing a gun, saying, when I see transphobe, I might want to shoot them. And this is not the first time I've seen it. I've seen it a lot of times, way before COVID. As if it was a normal thing to do, because hey, if we don't let them speak their truth, they might snippety snip themselves even if they don't mean it. I'm like, okay, but if you have thousands of people saying that in an enclosed room, they're gonna believe it's okay. Especially when you gave them back in the day before Elon Musk all the power to be able to post on Twitter. So you have this weird isolated community that have a specific way of thinking that consistently I infiltrate this Discord and I hear them. Yeah, Republicans always say they don't care if I die. They don't care about us. They're a bastard. They're evil. And I'm like, there comes a point somebody is going to believe it. And you are responsible for creating that. Both sides. But I see one with a gun, and they're still defending that person with a gun that just shot little kids. And if you cannot see that, I'm really, really sad that you do. But don't be surprised, I don't want to hang out with you. Because just because I don't even believe what you're believing, I'm already an enemy. Because I need to accept it, I need to use the right pronoun, and if my kid wants to be a little feminine and you think he might be something else that I think he's not, I'm the enemy too. There's so many reasons. All I want you to do is just chill your ass, live your life in peace, but don't force it on me. Simple. The main thing that just surprises me is I can't believe that somebody would like to die on this hill. This is something that he will not change their opinion. That they need to be able to transition kids before they're 18 as if they're adults. But at the same time, they cannot open a bank account, they cannot even drive a car, and they cannot even go to the army. But they're 100% they can do something to their physical body that they will never get back once they reach 18 if they start at that age. But they can just stop that specific job, they can just stop driving a car, they can just send the money back, they can just not go to war. You know, it's like, I don't like doing things to a body there isn't a plan B. Because when you detransition, nobody is there for you. And that is what surprises me more. And that is what surprises me more from the community that is supposed to be inclusive and empathetic. But if you're not with us, you're a bigot.